Hey, so I just watched Those Who Wish Me Dead in theaters, actually, not on HBO Max. You can watch this on HBO Max, but I think I made the right call in watching this in the theaters because it was a very popcorny like theater movie. Uh, I really enjoyed it. It's extremely flawed, but I enjoyed it. Uh, First thing to get out of the way is it's extremely predictable. Then again, that kind of comes par for the course with this kind of story. It's not going to do anything outlandishly shocking with its story beats. But then again, you're not watching it for the story, you're kind of watching it for the action, or at least that's what I was. Other people were watching it for, like, the growing like friendship between Angelina Jolie's character and the kid she meets and stuff like that. Everyone goes in for different reasons, I guess. But as like a thriller movie buff and action movie buff, I left away I left the movie slightly baffled at how little action the movie had, and that the movie mostly has a slow pace, which kind of makes sense given the director's track record that the rest of his movies are slow. But, like, with the advertising in this movie, it spoils, like, the entire third act of the movie and only shows footage from the third act, basically. It's kind of insulting how much it ruins the entire ending in its entirety. Like, it's really shocking. You have no idea just how much comes before that. It's weird. And it's all stuff that you would have assumed would have been a middle act of the movie, but no, there's nothing after it, surprisingly. So it's just like, huh, I didn't even realize that was a climax to a movie. It's weird. Which sounds like that would make this a negative review, and it's probably the reason why the movie's so mixed. But when the announcement that the movie was happening was the trailer, which came out like a couple weeks before the movie was released. And not only that, but it's not a mystery movie that was trying to like hide what the movie was about, like 10 Cloverfield Lane or Tomorrowland or anything like that. It's something where it's like an action movie. So that was kind of the first red flag to me that it probably like wouldn't be anything like 10 out of 10 amazing. So like I needed to go in with lower expectations, and it met that. It was good. It was like a 7.75 out of 10, I would say. Thankfully, what little action there was really good. The chemistry between the characters works very well. My movie theater was loud, so of course at every little noise I jumped out of my seat like a little girl. Yeah, I really liked it. I just wish that wasn't so slow and that it would just get on already with it, with like all the action, and that was just more frequent, stuff like that. I wish that we could have delved more into the characters, and all the relationships felt like they were rushed. Like, Angelina Jolie getting to know the kid felt like it was only in like 3 scenes. She basically meets the kid over halfway through the film. It's basically the third act of the movie. It's the bridgeway of the third act of the movie by the time she finally meets him. So, like, they barely have any time to, like, rush through their Monsters Ball-esque, like, relationship of, like, see, look, we both have these horrific things in common, which, I mean, they spoil in the trailer that, like, you have a tragedy, I have a tragedy, me tragedy as Sue tragedy, you know? We can bond over this. They kind of spoil that in the trailer, so I feel like it's okay to say something to that extent here, although I won't go into detail as to what it is. But yeah, it was fun. Surprisingly, it works as a black comedy, although I don't know how much of that was intentional or how much of it was just me giggling uncontrollably at some of the things that were happening and imagining some things that could have happened. There were a couple of scenes in the movie where whenever 2 expendable characters would get into a fight to the death and you knew one of them wasn't going to make it out, it was interesting to try to figure out which character was gonna make it out, although I always predicted right, because, you know, again, the movie's really predictable, but it's just interesting that the movie always went for, like, the characters that I was least sure about, so it's like, at least the movie knows to an extent, so that was good. So yeah, I'd recommend it, like, especially if you already have it on HBO Max, you could give it a go, or if you're a fan of the director's work. It's weird. Its tone is bizarre because it's slow, so it's hard to call it an action movie or a thriller, but it's not really. And it does have drama in it, but also has comedy in it, so it doesn't really fit into any one genre well. Anyways, that's what I thought.